Father in America podcast by Simon Javan Okelo, live from Seattle, Washington, USA.
Thank you so much for joining me for an amazing session of the Daily African Proverbs. We are live and direct on YouTube, and we are also live and direct on Clubhouse. My name is Simon Javan Okelo. I am the host of the African Father in America podcast, and I have been joined today by a really special guest. My guest today is my brother Jared Albrighton, who is a seasoned sales team leader, with a consistent track record of delivering value to clients while meeting measurement targets. But he's also an authority on Clubhouse and social audio in general. If you don't know Jared Albrighton, then I don't think you have really explored the social audio world really well. But our conversation today is going to be guided by a Tanzanian proverb. Every day we gather here for the African Father in America podcast, especially for the Daily African Proverbs, and we bring in African proverbs with the hopes that at the end of our time together, we all learn something that we take away with us. So today, this proverb, we haven't shared it before, and it's in many stories. The proverb says, two-way confused hyena. Two-way is, in Kiswahili, it says, it goes njia panda. Njia panda means, you are at a crossroads, and there are so many stories in Kenya, in Tanzania, that present crossroads, and the hyena is always fooled whenever the story of the hyena in the crossroads are presented. But today we want to look at this from a different angle, and also from the angle of trust, and from a business perspective. How do you build trust with people? How do you build trust in this era of social audio? And as we are also having a guest who is very deeply involved in the metaverse conversations, how do you build trust in these times? So these are the three takeaways that I want you to note. These are the things that my team and I thought we should learn from today's conversation, and then we'll dive deep into my interview with Jared today. So number one takeaway is that it's important to be aware of your surroundings, and this is the takeaway from the proverb. This is our interpretation of this proverb for you, and then soon you will hear what Jared also has to say about it. We will also learn about a childhood story that still inspires Jared until today. Then after that, we're going to learn about Jared's accomplishments, in sales. Jared holds amazing, events virtually, where he literally helps people find jobs and career paths in the tech industry. We are going to talk about some of the most inspiring, moments, during these events that Jared has been hosting. And then we are going to listen to some of you, our audience members, some of your comments. And then after that, we are going to learn how you can stay connected with Jared and how you can support some of this incredible work that he is doing. So these are the takeaways in regards to today's proverb. Number one, it's important to be aware of your surroundings and who you are talking to. Number two, it's important to be aware of the risks associated with certain things, and then number three, it's important to be aware of the dangers that come with being too trusting. So when you're on a crossroads, those are some of the things that you need to consider. But as usual, we learned so much within this 1 hour of the recording of the African Father in America podcast. And I want to invite you, Jared, to just quickly share with us your own perspectives when you hear two-way confused hyena, and also when you reflect on, just the introduction and the reflections I just shared. What is it that comes up for you that you want to share with our audience members today?
Hey, what's up, Simon? Yeah, no, thank you for having me. When I think about that proverb, it's just really about just assessing, you know, the situation. So, like as you mentioned, I've been doing, tech sales for over 15 years, and it's just figuring out qualifying opportunities and also qualifying people's true intentions, not only by what they say, but what they've done in the past, how they treat people, how they, interact with you during the process of building the relationship. Are they dependable? All those type of things. So, yeah, in this social media age, there's a lot of confusion because there's a lot of smoke and mirrors. There's a lot of inflated resumes. There's a lot of fake it till you make it. So for me, when I feel confused about an individual and I'm trying to assess, like, okay, is this person really who they say they are? Is this person trying to get over on me? Whatever the case is, I eliminate confusion through references. I reference their history of success. That's one of the best indicators of, can you trust you can have success with this person in the present and future, is what is their track record of success? Have they worked with individuals like me and brought me value, or brought people like me value? And I think about that. Also, just think about, what's the value I can bring to them. Obviously, I'm always down to give value, but like the confusion is really eliminated by just looking at people's track records and listening, just really listening to what they're actually saying, and taking it from there. So I don't know how long you wanted me to go, but I'll just kind of keep it short and sweet. That's how I usually do it on Clubhouse.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate that. I love how you shared how you can cross-reference people and find ways of ascertaining whether who people say they are is actually who they are. I love that. And for those who are just joining us, we are live and direct on YouTube. If you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, this is a good time for you to do that. I'm going to pin the link to this YouTube live stream at the top of the Clubhouse room so that you can join us there. But I have a special guest here with me today. Jared Albrighton is my special guest, and is definitely someone I have so much love and respect for. And he just shared with us his own interpretation of today's proverb. But now we want to go a little deeper and learn about a childhood story that inspires you today, Jared. You're someone that is always driven. You're someone who is not afraid to speak up whenever you see a situation that needs your voice. But you're also, besides, helping people find their career path, especially in tech, you're always, creating space for others, allowing, people's voices to be heard. I've seen you in big stages on Clubhouse, and one of your philosophies is always, let's hear from everyone. Let's give everybody space, And I wanted you to share with us where this leadership traits came from, and, and how your childhood inspires who you are today as a leader.
Yeah. So, I would just say, from just an overall macro childhood perspective, I had really, really amazing parents. And so I'm super grateful for that. Both my parents dealt with serious adversity growing up. They both were, in Pine Bluff, Arkansas, born in the 50s, into extreme racist conditions, extreme poverty. And, my dad was one of five kids. My mom was one of eight. And they were like multiple kids in a bed, bucket in the backyard, outhouse in the backyard. Uh, Both, all their parents, or my mom's parents, both dropped out of school, like eighth grade, third grade. And my dad's mom, my grandmother, didn't really have education either. So, um, just hearing about their story growing up shaped my perspective of my life growing up. So I just want to kind of give context to that, because Um, my mom, my dad, they both, came from extreme poverty, but were able to be, one of the first to go to college. My dad became an OBGYN. My mom became a speech therapist. They ended up linking up later in life when my dad was in medical school. Although they knew of each other and they brothers and sisters, knew each other back in the day in Pine Bluff. And, so although I was able to grow up in a very, nice neighborhood and a nice school district, private school education, everything like that, they always gave me a sense of, how grateful I should be by taking me back to Little Rock, take me to Pine Bluff, where, my cousins, still were in those tough situations. And they, I had cousins that were gang banging, drug dealers, all kinds of like Tyler Perry script style drama in my family. And also just saw how my parents made sure that they supported all my aunts and uncles, and they were very selfless, and they were very focused on like, how can we take our blessings that we worked hard for, but to make sure the people that we love are, with electricity, with food, and the things like that. So I would just say those summers going to Little Rock and just being in a mindset of gratitude and appreciation for what I have, and just understanding that because I'm blessed to have this education, I'm blessed to have these opportunities. Once I reap the benefits of these opportunities and become successful, it's important to, reach back and pull people in to, opportunities that they might not be a part of. Because for me, I think education is the differentiating factor between who's successful and who's not, like just knowledge. And, that's why I don't judge people, and I don't necessarily look down on anybody that hasn't achieved a certain amount of success or doesn't have this big vocabulary or whatever. I just chalk it up to the fact that they just weren't, lucky enough to have that opportunity of education and resources at a young age. So that's really what motivates me is, in terms of the Black community and the African community, how can we get resources and education to younger kids so that there's an equal playing field? But me now being in tech for over 15 plus years, and seeing all the opportunities in coding and engineering and, data science and data analysts, etc., you don't necessarily need a college education for these roles. So it's more so now just trying to make sure the community understands what opportunities there are in tech, what are the resources to get educated so that you can qualify and succeed in these roles. And then also, the opportunities in the metaverse, opportunities with crypto, NFTs, and Web 3.0 in general. We're so early right now. If we are educating our kids on how to use Roblox or how to, utilize NFTs, they can be the thought leaders moving forward, and they won't be overwhelmed or confused by the time they're 18 and they're inundated with all these job opportunities in this space. So, yeah, I mean, those are the childhood memories. There's a lot of them, but I would just say just the trips back to Arkansas every summer, kicking it with my cousins. And so when I come back to my hometown in San Antonio and I have the gated community and all the spoiled kids, I didn't get sucked into this feeling of entitlement. And I got really more so richer in like gratitude and abundance. So, yeah.
I love that. Yeah, getting richer in gratitude and abundance out of all those experiences is something that definitely can be seen in how, at least, how you've treated me in all the things we've done together over the last year, and I think a year and a half. So I really appreciate you. Most recently, you helped us a lot with Africa Day, and I want to express my gratitude, for the time you created and the impact you helped us make together. There were over 3,000 people that attended the Africa Day event on Clubhouse during the 24 hours, and you stood with us, and I truly appreciate that. For those who are just joining us, my name is Simon Okelo. I am the host of the African Father in America podcast. And I have a really wonderful guest today, Jared Albrighton, who is an incredible sales team leader and also an authority in the tech industry, especially creating tech career paths for African and African American people worldwide. He's hosting a lot of major events on Twitter Spaces, on Clubhouse, and today we're just going a little deeper and learning more about Jared. And we've already learned about his perspective on today's proverb. We've learned about a childhood story that keeps him grounded and inspires him as a leader today. But now we want to go into what you actually currently do, the work that you're doing as a sales leader, and also your accomplishments currently with connecting people to tech careers. Share with us a story that makes you happy to continue doing this work, because a lot of the time we do things that we are passionate about because they make us happy, and it is the stories that keep us going. So if there's a story of somebody that you helped with a tech career opportunity that you want to share, or if there's just a few lessons that you want to share with us in regards to your work as a sales team leader, and also if you want to touch on your work and your strategy around social audio and how you've been leveraging Clubhouse and Twitter Spaces to not only serve your community, but to really demonstrate what's possible during this time that we are rising out of the pandemic.
Yeah, so the sales thing was kind of like just kind of like happenstance. I was in college and I was a freshman in college, and somebody came up to me and they said, "Hey, would you be interested in doing a summer internship where students are making up to $20,000 to $30,000 in the summer?" For me, I'm like, yeah, I'm interested, because I always had this mentality of like, if somebody else can do it, so can I? Why can't I? So I was just like, sure, let me find out about it. And then when I found out, it was selling educational products door to door, 80 hours a week, 6 days a week, in some random part of the country. I still was just like, well, other kids are doing this, shoot, I can too. So I drove out to Nashville, Tennessee, and we had this very intense sales boot camp where they really pumped your head up with positive affirmations to help you get through a very challenging summer. Do your best, let God take care of the rest. Every no is just one step closer to the next yes. Focus on what you can control, and that's it. What are some other ones? Life is 10% what happens to you, 90% how you react. So just focus on reacting and having a positive mindset. So yeah, I went out my first summer and got Louisville, Kentucky is the city I was going to go to, and I went there, and I knocked on doors 3 weeks straight and like got like no sales, barely got any sales, got told no, just constantly no, 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 no. But my thing was, I really just wanted to make my parents proud and show them like, all right, you paid your way through college, I want to do the same thing. And I was a little partier in high school and got in a little trouble here and there, so they were like, there's no way you're gonna be able to do this, you're gonna want to just like come back home and have fun. But I figured it out, just through repetition and just being like persistent, and started closing the principal of the school and the PTA president and the coach of the football team. So I'd pull out the books and have like a whole, bunch of the big autographs and be like, hey, Simon, you might know Debbie down the street and Mary. And from that, I was able to make $25,000 in my first summer, and then the second summer did 30,000, paid for my entire college education. Because of that, I was able to get enterprise sales role at IBM. So like, out of all the success that I've had, I would say like that summer and the second summer that I did it, and that really was shaped me to be the man that I am from just a persistence and resilience standpoint. It built a lot of character, and it also showed me just the value of working hard and having a system and just really like sticking to the system. So yeah, my time in tech sales was really amazing. Worked with C-level executives from all the top, Fortune 100, Fortune 250s. Was able to live a really dope lifestyle where I work remote and I traveled. Allowed me to work from, anywhere in the world, including like Tanzania, Kenya, Egypt, Morocco, South Africa, um, Senegal, and I might be missing another one, but Ethiopia. So just the name of the African countries, but I was able to live in like travel to like 81 countries during those 15 years, and that period was really just about working with executives to understand like what are your objectives, what are the solutions you're looking for, and then giving them those solutions. The key thing for me was really just like um, never selling anybody something that wouldn't work. Like, so I'm always focused on like real value, not can I get the sale or can I make the money. It's can I help this executive get that promotion? Can I help that executive achieve their targets? Can I help the company achieve their revenue goals? And so I would literally walk away from opportunities where they probably would have spent, millions of dollars with our company because I just knew that it would put us in a bad spot. So that's one of the biggest things that I try to tell. Um, uh, that's one of the biggest things that I try to tell, people is be value focused first. If Simon comes to me and entrust something from me, I'm trying to figure out how do I over deliver, and that's the energy that I have on Clubhouse. So after a 15-year plus career in tech sales, and I had a lot of success, and I just kind of lived for myself. um, I hopped on Clubhouse during the pandemic because my friend was like, yo, there's such amazing networking available on this app, and you're such a great networker. Pop on, right? So I pop on, and I'm just listening, and I'm just chilling, and I'm not really, I, I don't really know what my intention is on this app. I tried to be an artist manager in the music industry for 5 years, and I say try because I didn't really have much success. So I was really interested in learning from people in the music industry, like record labels and artist managers and all that, like, what made them successful. So I just sit in the audience. And then one day in December, I ran into a club called Black in Tech. And I saw this room and had like 200 Black people in it talking about tech. And I was like, wow, this is really, really dope. In my career in tech, I was always kind of like the one Black guy on the sales team or the couple of Black people on the team. So I was just excited to see us talking about tech. And what I realized was they weren't really talking about the opportunity in tech sales because people don't know about tech sales. They don't understand that it's, 6-figure salary with 7-figure potential and a really dope lifestyle of corporate cards and flights and hotels and rental cars and sporting events and golf trips and conferences and just like all that stuff. Like, especially our community, we just don't know about this role in this space. So I was like, all right, well, they're talking about engineering, they're talking about everything else. I want to make sure that they know about tech sales. So I raised my hand, popped on stage, and I just shared, authentically what the opportunities were in tech sales, what my experience was, how can you break in, what kind of transferable skills do you need. And I was like, yeah, if you want to hit me up, have any questions, let me know. And um, I had 80 followers at the time. Didn't really think about being a Clubhouse, influencer or Clubhouse anybody. I was just, share my story and then keep it moving. And when I hopped off stage and I looked at my profile, I saw I had like 200 followers from, that statement. I was like, wow. And I got a bunch of DMs. Can you help me with this? Can you help me with that? But then also DMs like, hey, we should do rooms together. So I'm like, all right, let's do another room. Um, And so we figured out the topic. We did the room. It lasted for like 6 hours. And the cool thing about Clubhouse is, you know, you read people's bios in the audience and you're like, oh, that's a senior engineer at Facebook. Let me pull them up. Hey, so you're senior engineer at Facebook. What advice do you have for aspiring engineers? Oh, I see this person works at Google. Let me pull them up. So like I started getting comfortable with the moderation because that was my first time moderating a room. But it came pretty natural to me because all I really was focused on is highlighting successful people and pulling out of them tips of success and resources for the people in the audience. And you know, that room was huge and, you know, got another big amount of followers from it. And so I was kind of clicked at that second room. I was like, you know what, this could be my purpose on Clubhouse, is just to increase diversity in tech. I don't really care if I make money from it. I really don't care about anything else. If I can just help Black people get into tech, cool. So, you know, I created a mod squad and we all became pretty good friends. We all can talk about different areas of tech. So, you know, I'm non-tech, you know, there's technical tech people, there's people in the startup space. So like we had a good blend of experience and we were just scheduling rooms like every day, in Black and Tech and other clubs and just pouring into people. And so from, you know, December to February, I went from 80 followers to 30,000 followers, which was pretty crazy for me because I've never been a social media personality, never really been, you know, about me. And I wasn't about me, but like I just never cared about social media. Like I really don't care if people see where I'm going or what I do. If I'm doing it in real life, that's all that matters. But it was cool to get that following off of Impact, and then having that following allowed me access to other stages. And back in early 2021, you know, that was like the peak of Clubhouse. So we had all kinds of celebrities. Elon Musk popped on the app, all kinds of really, really powerful business people. And I'm able to just be in stages with them and they're following me and they're in my DMs. And it was just, I was like, wow, this is a really incredible opportunity. So I quit my tech job because I didn't feel it was right to my management to be on Clubhouse all day and they're depending on me to hit their objectives. I just didn't feel like that was the right thing to do. And I always have confidence because of tech. I have so many recruiters that hit me up because that's just what tech is. Like once you have a certain amount of experience, recruiters are fighting for you. They're throwing money at you, which is why I wanted more Black people to get in it. Um, so I was like, all right, it's cool. Like if Clubhouse is not a thing, then uh, I'll just get back into tech. And yeah, I kept growing. I figured out a platform that actually have a room today at 3 p.m. Central Time, 4 p.m. Eastern, called CH Tech Careers Recruiter Spotlight, and that's like my staple room. So we basically, I was realizing I would have all this great information and have all these great resources, but everybody would hit me up on LinkedIn and I'd have to make the one-on-one connection. Like, oh, I want to meet with Google. Okay, let me pass your message to Google. Like, it's just too much work and I'm not getting paid from it. So it's like, it's just too much. So I said, you know what? I'm just going to start a room where I put all these companies on the stage and they can share their roles and people can directly connect with them. And so that's the room I'm having today. I'm partnering with an app called Entree. That's a Web3 and tech professional networking app. So I'm helping them build their audience by doing rooms in Clubhouse with my audience and saying, if you want quality conversations and quality job opportunities and proximity to quality people, you should check out Entree. So that allows me to do these rooms in a way where it's a win-win for me and the, you know, recruiters and the people breaking in. And you know, through this room, we had over 100 people break into tech. It was dope because I got to solidify my relationships with all the top tech companies, um, and so that, you know, if I need them for programs for students and or, you know, community stuff, you know, it's pretty accessible. And this afforded me opportunities to work with, you know, brands like Afrotech and others, to just focus on the goal of diversity in tech. So, you know, that's my Clubhouse kind of like story in terms of how I got started and how it kind of turned into this. Now I'm like 73,000. And you know, people say like Clubhouse is dead, Clubhouse is dying, blah blah blah. But if you have a true intention on this app, if you have real value and you are really giving from a genuine place, um, you know, you can still have success on this app. Because, you know, my room, you know, the tech careers rooms, my Web3 rooms, metaverse rooms, they still do like 2 to 3,000 people flowing in and out of them, you know, 200 to 300 people in at a time. So because of that, I'm able to help brands and influencers and you know, companies build you know, revenue through this app. And so I consult for that, as well as Twitter Spaces. I grew really fast on Twitter Spaces. I just had a Twitter Space yesterday that was pretty successful. So, you know, I consult on social audio. I help drive revenue on social audio. So if you're watching this and you're interested, you can hit me up and we can talk about how we can, you know, set up your brand in your rooms and your clubs so that you can build community and have impact. And then lastly, through all these tech rooms that I was doing, I was able to learn more about real estate, crypto, NFTs, and the metaverse. And so now I'm able to learn this information and connect our community with the thought leaders in these spaces. And, you know, my goal is to be a thought leader myself in this space. And so I've been getting speaking engagements about the metaverse, attending a lot of the conferences, you know, doing rooms. I'm actually going to be putting together an ebook about, you know, all things metaverse and NFTs in a way that's very like authentic to me and my voice. And one thing I'm really good at is speaking about tech in a very relatable, inclusive way, not in a way where it's like I'm trying to sound real smart. I try to break it down in a way that anybody can like get it with simple analogies. So, yeah, man, now, you know, my focus is, you know, breaking people into tech, but it's also getting people Web 3.0 jobs, getting people in the metaverse, making people comfortable with crypto, and getting people comfortable with NFTs and how they can be successful with them, and connecting influencers and brands to metaverse activations and NFT activations. So, yeah, and then, you know, I got 2 startups that I'm launching, which I'm excited about. And uh, I wouldn't have had those without Clubhouse as well. So currently fundraising and everything like that. And then lastly, VCs and angels, etc. They are all around me, not only from my time in tech, but from the rooms I do on Clubhouse within the startup club and the pitch club and other areas. So I now have an ecosystem of investors that are willing to invest in companies. So I've been doing a lot of work of just like talking to companies that are startups, helping with the pitch decks, putting it in front of VCs and getting them funded in exchange for like equity um, and consulting fees. And so, yeah, this app has got me really busy, but it's real fun. It's really about adding value and you know, creating win-wins. So yeah, that's basically what I've been up to um, since Clubhouse. And you know, the book door-to-door sales is kind of just like the genesis of how I became who I became, in terms of just knowing how to sell, but also knowing how to listen. Because one thing I learned, and the last thing I'll say is like one thing I learned selling the bookstore to door is, um, you know, the more somebody's talking, you know, the more they can gain trust from you because the more you really understand where they're trying to go. So for me, like my big Clubhouse skill is not necessarily talking. Like I'm talking more than I usually do because it's just 2 of us. But my real skill is asking questions so I can learn people and learn what they do and where they're trying to go so I can understand how I can help. Because the more I can help, the more that I believe God will turn around to help me. I don't expect anything from anybody in particular when we work together, unless like we're doing consulting, then you're gonna pay me first. But beyond that, if I'm doing something like tech jobs, I just trust the universe is gonna, you know, bless me with something back, and you know, God really has. So I'm very grateful, thankful for this app. And yeah, I hope it doesn't die. So we'll see.
Man, I appreciate you a lot for making the time for us to have this conversation today. And I have so many questions in my mind for you. You know, so many questions. And some of these questions are not directly connected to our conversations today, so I'll keep them on the side. But just to give you an idea, I live in Seattle, Washington, and I'm broadcasting from Seattle, and this is also one of the tech hubs in the world. So we should connect later on and maybe talk about how I can do a better job tapping into the tech industry here, and how similar to what you've done with yourself.
So dope African women that are tech influencers that live in Seattle. So yeah, and one is from Ghana, the other one is, I believe, from Nigeria. But yeah, they're based in Seattle. One works at Microsoft, and the other one, I'm not sure where she works. But they have a huge audience on Twitter Spaces, and I can definitely send you their information. And I think there'd be two people just to grab lunch with, build rapport with in terms of your experience with Africa and what you guys do for Africa, because they're very big advocates of, pulling people in and, helping people out. So, yeah.
Excellent. So just stay put, and maybe if you want, you can take a few notes. For the next few minutes, we are going to hear from our audience members on Clubhouse just for a moment. So stay there. I want to thank everyone who is watching on YouTube. Thank you so much. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, this is a good time for you to do that. That's one of the ways you can support this African Father in America podcast. And if you are on Clubhouse, remember to share the link to this room within Clubhouse and outside of Clubhouse, and also ping in 3 to 5 people to join us for this conversation. We are discussing an African proverb. The proverb itself, hold on, I think I shared an old link at the top of the room. I'll share with you the current proverb we are discussing. Says that two-way confused the hyena. Two-way confused the hyena. And I want to replace the link at the top of the Clubhouse room, so that you can also tap in with us on YouTube and join us on YouTube, where we are live streaming this conversation. The link that I shared at the top of the Clubhouse room is actually yesterday's. That's yesterday's live stream. Yesterday we were also live here, and we had an amazing conversation as well. My guest yesterday was the executive director of the residency here in Seattle, Washington, which is an amazing organization that is doing hip-hop education and bringing hip-hop to the masses, and basically doing similar to what you're doing, Jarrett. They are educating young black youths about the careers in hip-hop beyond the performances, beyond the music, the tech careers in hip-hop, the audio engineering, the film production. So yesterday was great, but today is also quite amazing, and I just shared the link at the top of the room for you to join us. But let's hear from you, Stella. Just briefly, where are you joining us from, and what does today's proverb mean to you? Two-way confused hyena. And also, if you have any comment to my special guest Jarrett Albrighton, that's also welcome. Just briefly.
Yes, thank you, Simon. This is Stella from Kenya. Hi, everyone. And I'm really inspired by today's speaker. And I have a question for him. But before I go to the question, Simon, someone is kindly asking if you can share the link to his handle on top of Clubhouse so that people can follow him.
Hey, Jarrett,
Actually, I've found it and I've gone and followed him.
Jared, could you do me a favor? Could you join Clubhouse too? Do you have another gadget that you could use to join the Clubhouse room as well? If you do, that would be amazing because
Yeah, I don't. I can talk about it in YouTube if you want.
sorry, I can't hear you. Say that again.
I can pop on stage on YouTube.
Okay, no problem. You can jump out of YouTube for a moment and then come back after you go to Clubhouse. Thank you so much. So Jared is going to join us on Clubhouse for a while. So stay put, and he'll join us there for a while. And I do see that Jay is here as well. Jay, I'll bring you on the stage. I just want to thank you, each of you who is with us on Clubhouse. Today has been an incredible time. We are, having a conversation with one of the biggest influencers on Clubhouse, actually, and today gave me an opportunity to just go behind the man, behind who Jared Albrighton is. And if you're just joining us, we've learned so much. We've learned about his own perspective about this African proverb. And this African proverb that we're discussing today says that two-way confused hyena, two-way confused hyena. And I always love presenting African proverbs to everyone, to people who have never been to Africa, to people who are not Africans, because I want to understand what their perspectives are. And so I want to quickly continue on listening to everyone who is on the stage on Clubhouse, and then we will come back to Jared so that he can close this session for us in maybe the next 15 or so minutes. So for now, we'll continue with you, Stella. I think you had something to say. So if you want to finish sharing what you're sharing, and then we'll go to Debbie right after that. But Jared is on the stage. Everyone can engage with him there directly as well.
Yes, thank you very much. So I had a question for Jared, and the question is actually related to the proverb because it's a bit confusing for someone who wants to get started in the tech world and start learning those programming languages. So as a beginner, what is the advice you'd give someone, and especially on the programming languages to start with, so that they don't get confused like this hyena we are talking about today?
Okay. Yeah. Jared, I know that you're switching. You're switching between two different apps. I don't know if you had Stella's question, but Stella, your question also reminds me of the blog post that was written by Roger recently. So I wonder if you want to use that to give people more context as well. I think the question you asked is really, really great.
Let's see.
Okay, I'll bring Jared back here. Stella, just give us a moment. I think Jared is still figuring out, the...
Yeah.
Okay, there you are. Yeah, just go ahead. Use Clubhouse.
Yeah, so Stella, what was the question? Sorry, I couldn't hear it. Or was there?
I think Stella's question was in relation to how do we use these African proverbs to be able to explain tech questions, or be able to earlier on, for example, and Stella, you're going to help me in case I'm not sharing your question properly. Go ahead, Stella.
Yes, let me help. Okay, so my question is, if someone wants to start in this tech world, what are the programming languages to start with? Like the first one would start, like, how would you guide someone who wants to start so that they don't get confused on the way?
Gotcha. So, tech is a vast space, and so I would just say, first and foremost, just think about like why do you want to be in tech, and what kind of lifestyle do you want, and what kind of value do you want to bring to an organization? Because I think people think of it more so like oh, what coding course do I learn or what boot camps do I take and stuff like that. And then they do all that work and get into the company and they're kind of miserable because it's not what they envision what tech actually, what tech looks like for them. And they're not really passionate about what they're doing. So my biggest thing would be to first go to the career pages of some of the top tech companies like Google or Amazon or Facebook or LinkedIn, Twitter, whoever. You just search their name and then careers in the search bar. The career page will pop up, and then look at the different departments within these tech organizations. Is going to open up eyes and mind to the fact that it's not all about coding. There's a lot of other skills that you might already have that you might be more passionate about that you already have a better fit for that you can utilize to break into tech. But once you start just kind of like researching the careers page, kind of like, here are the opportunities in tech guide. Like, look at it like that. Look at the job requirements. Look at the experience level needed. And the job description will kind of let you understand, like, okay, this is what I would do day to day at this company. Um, and from there, it'll say, like, skills that are needed. It'll tell you, like, you need to be knowledgeable on C+, you need to know JavaScript, you need to know SQL. So I would more so focus on what is the job responsibilities you would be excited to do, like wake up and be excited about. What are the type of industries you would like to work with? Is it financial technology? Is it marketing technology? Is it biotechnology? Et cetera. What are the customers you would like to help, or what is the thing that you would like to drive for a company? Do you want to drive the product design? Do you want to drive the code that helps their product become more successful, like all the updates that are done on Clubhouse? Do you want to bring in logos by, demonstrating the product and, you know, uh, closing on big contracts, and through those big contracts you make a lot of money. There's so many different avenues in tech, so I would just say, like, first do some soul searching and research first, figure out the role that you're really excited about, and then when you go into searching for that role at multiple companies using LinkedIn or Google, and you go to the job description, they're going to say skills needed, like say required skills and then preferable skills. You want to make sure you have both. And whatever you keep on seeing, if you keep on seeing C+, you keep on seeing Java, you keep on seeing SQL, then it's like, all right, great. Now let me look up C+ boot camps, SQL boot camps, things like that. Vet, how successful have they been in terms of people taking their certifications and actually getting positions, or you can bring on a coach. But yeah, being very very targeted is important. Being very researched is important, because by the time that you understand the languages and you go to talk to interviewers about why do you want to work for this company, now you have a real story of, well, I want to work in marketing tech, specifically as a product designer, because I want to be able to help your company, companies like yours, blah, 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 blah. And here are the skills that I did to prepare for it. And this is why I'll be great for the job, versus, I just want to get into tech. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of a longer answer than you probably asked for, but I'm not technical. I don't know the different tech languages, by heart. I know them on a high level, but in terms of like which ones would be a fit for you, that would be my guidance, to really do some soul searching first about, what do you want your lifestyle to be like, all that kind of stuff. And then if you can, take people out to virtual coffees that have the role, just to confirm that this is what the job is like, and then also see if they can give you guidance for your specific role in terms of what certifications and what languages you need to be proficient. So hopefully that's helpful.
Very helpful. Thank you so much.
Excellent, excellent. Let's move on to the next person. That's Debbie. Debbie, how are you? Where are you joining us from? And what are your thoughts on the ongoing conversation in today's proverb that says the two-way confused hyena?
I'm doing well. Thank you so much, Simon. Greetings to everybody on the call. Thank you all time for this platform, Simon. So appreciated. My name is Debbie, aka Game Dev Debbie. I'm joining from Maryland, very close to DC. Regarding the proverb, this speaks to me about confusion versus clarity, and how if we have a clear vision, we can have a direct path and a solid plan. So this is really speaking to me, and I absolutely want to thank you, Jarrett, for speaking life into me this morning. I come from a CS background. I created a STEAM center to teach kids how to code, especially like kids that look like us, and provide representative role models in STEM. And we're trying to reach out to our inner city youth. So you've just been very inspiring, not just for my career, but just like how I can bring more value to the communities, because the families are asking about metaverse, NFT, everything. So I followed you, and I want to learn more so I can grow and I can share. And I just really appreciate you showing up this way for Black folks in tech. It's been really inspiring. So thank you so much.
Wonderful. Thank you again, Debbie. This is Simon here speaking. For those who are just joining us, this is the African Father in America podcast. And, today I've been privileged to have my brother Jared Albrighton as our special guest. And after we hear the comments from you who are on stage, Jared is going to share with us his closing remarks. And we are most likely going to bring you back, Jared, because we need to deepen this conversation, so expect to hear from me. Now we want to move on to Omni Shads. Shads is such an incredible, African queen. Shads, how are you doing? It's been a while. I want you to share with us your perspectives on this proverb, from Tanzania. The proverb says that two-way confused hyena. And also, if you have any comments on this ongoing conversation, feel free. Thank you so much for being here.
Greetings, Simon. I just want to first apologize for my voice. It's going, and I hope that you can all hear me. I miss you so much, Simon. I'm very honored that I managed to come on time and catch at least a little bit of wisdom that I've heard so far. Brother Jarrett, I am grateful that I get to hear about what you're doing in the community in general. About the proverb, this one's coming timing. Do you know what I mean? Because I'm at that point in time where I am a confused hyena. Do you understand? I'm feeling like I'm having two heads right now. So the ancestors really, this one is for me. It's very important. Debbie, thank you for sharing what you shared. Really ignited a whole thought process that I need to reflect on right after this conversation. But what you said about it's important to have that direction or sense of direction in general. Having being a two-head hyena can be positive and negative, because it's good to have a backup or have two different ways of thinking, but it can also mean that you are maybe moving slower in the direction you should be moving. Well, that's how I'm feeling right now. Thank you all for listening, of me really thinking out loud. I appreciate you all. The voice that you've been listening to belongs to Shahada. Sending you big love and virtual hugs.
Thank you, Shads. Yes, I truly appreciate you as well for being here. Steve, where are you joining us from, Steve? And what are your thoughts on today's proverb from Tanzania, the two-way confused hyena? Okay, Steve is probably away from his mic. We'll come back to you in a moment, Steven. We'll go to Monica. Monica, how are you doing? And what are your, what are your thoughts on this proverb today? And what are maybe a comment also that you have in regards to the ongoing conversation with Brother Jared?
Hey Simon, I'm not in a good place to talk, but
I see.
my interpretation of the proverb is a two-way confused hyena never reaches his destination. Like when we are struggling with a problem and there's so many different ways we can handle it. It's really good idea to take a minute and think about it and plan and strategize and use discernment to figure out which path is best to take so we actually can go somewhere. And I really enjoyed Jarrett's stories of his childhood and his life philosophy. I appreciate the fact that he is driven to over deliver, and that's a mark of excellent character that I really like. So I'm hoping he'll share his Twitter handle also. It If you noticed the chat, I was quite active in chat trying to figure out how I could follow him on Clubhouse. He's now been followed on Clubhouse, so I'd like to extend that to Twitter. If he can share his social media contacts with us, that'd be great. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Yes, he will share that in his closing remarks, which is coming up in a moment. But now I want to come to you, Stephen, so that we give you space to also share your perspectives briefly, and then we will have Jarrett share his closing remarks and also how you can all stay connected with him, including on Twitter. Stephen?
Hello everyone, thank you for having me, Simon. I'm Steven, joining from Kisumu, Kenya. First of all, I must say that I've been inspired by today's speaker, and to some extent I've felt like getting into the tech world and being your student. I'll definitely follow you so that I may learn more from what you've shared with us today. On today's topic, what was coming to me was a Luo saying that Simon, you'll help me translate no mio otoyo iobar. And my understanding with the proverb is just being focused and focusing on what you feel most and what you enjoy doing best than chasing too many birds, yet you can eat one with one stone and make good out of the one bird that you've got at hand. So that's my understanding of the proverb, Simon, and thank you for having me.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Steve. And thanks to everyone for being here with us, on Clubhouse. I do hope you followed my guest, Jared, and also follow the African Father in America Club. We host these sessions Monday to Friday, 6 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. And we also live stream on YouTube. Please make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel. The link is at the top of the room, so that when we are live tomorrow and the coming days, you can catch the daily African Proverbs. Now, my brother Jarrett, I want to give you the floor so that you share your closing remarks, anything that you heard people say that you want to reflect on. This is a good time. And also, how we can all stay connected with you and how we can support your incredible work. Please.
So thank you for having me, Simon. Definitely make sure to subscribe to his YouTube channel, support him, like his posts, share them, comment. All that stuff is important for the algorithm. Watch the commercials that play, put some money in his pocket. But I follow the greenhouse as well. But yeah, if you want, you can click on my bio, and all of my social media is listed in my bio. You can connect with me on LinkedIn. You'll be first degree connected to a lot of people in tech. My Instagram is Dr. J, DOCTAJ. So like Dr. J. So DOCTAJ. We'd love for everybody to follow me on Instagram so you can see the different conferences and speaking engagements, and I'll be dropping tips in my stories and also links to resources. My Twitter is Dr. NYC for when I used to live in New York City. So DOCTA NYC. And I do a lot of Twitter spaces around Web 3.0, metaverse, tech careers, and also post a lot of resources with job roles. So if you're interested in that, feel free to follow me on Twitter. And the easiest way to get to my Instagram and Twitter via Clubhouse is just clicking my bio going down, and you'll see the links at the bottom. You can follow there. And then my next room is CH Tech Careers Recruiter Spotlight. We're going to have like 30, 40 recruiters on stage. If you check out my replays, you can check out some of the past rooms and share that with your friends and family. And you can follow up with people from the replays. If you want to be live in the room, go to my bio, click on the next room that's in my bio, and click the bell, and you should be alerted when I open the room. And yeah, just take notes of who the companies are and what they offer, and then pull up. And yeah, and then there's another app that I want to promote real quick. Do you mind if I throw it to the top, Simon?
No, go ahead, please.
There's a career fair that I'm throwing on another app called Entree. And it's a Web3 tech professional networking app. And it's got 30,000 members right now, but it's going to grow significantly. And I'm all about being an early adopter on apps because you have proximity to people in a more intimate way. So if you're interested in tech, highly recommend you build out a profile. It's similar to LinkedIn, where you can post different resources and things of that nature, but it's also got social audio rooms that have screen share at the top and things of that nature. So I just realized I'm running late for a meeting, so I'll have to wrap up. But click the link, download the app, and yeah, we'll get things going on Entree as well. But thanks for having me, Simon. I gotta run.
Thank you so much, Jared. And thanks everyone for being here with us for today's session. That marks the end of our time together for today's episode of the African Father in America podcast. And we will see you tomorrow. My guest is going to be Chioma Sheri, who is an amazing writer, poet, and creative who joins us here every Wednesday for a poetry inspired session. So thank you all and have a beautiful, beautiful day. Peace and love.
African Father in America. Tujikaze, tujikaze, jikaze. Tujikaze, tujikaze, jikaze. African Father in America. Tujikaze, tujikaze, jikaze. You are listening to African Father in America podcast by Simon Javan Okelo, live from Seattle, Washington, USA.